What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning The Dr. Vibe Show. As always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And also realize I'm a certified empowerment coach, president and CEO of Express Your Vibe Communications. And I'm always saying I love to have new friends on the Dr. Vibe Show. And one other thing I want to mention, I'm the host of Epic Conversations, and the Dr. Vibe Show is a place for epic conversations. And have to say a big thank you to a lady named Tatiana, who brought myself in alignment and in collaboration with this young gentleman. So I'd like to shout out her first. The new friend for the Dr. Vibe Show tonight is a gentleman named Dr. Walter Sims. He's a dynamic, motivational speaker, certified spiritual, mental toughness, relationship, and positivity life coach. Is there anything else? And he's an award-winning author of a book called Living Motivated, The Beattitudes of Living a Motivated Life. He knows what it takes to live a life on purpose, and he understands people's fears and limiting beliefs that have kept them stuck. And we're blessed and highly favored to have Dr. Sims on our conversation tonight, and he's going to be talking about living on purpose. Dr. Sims, thank you so much for taking time from your positive, productive schedule to share with us this evening. How are you?
Man, I am doing fine. I am honored to be on Epic Conversations with Dr. Vibe. Again, I thank Tachi for connecting us. And man, I love your energy. I love what you're doing. I love your platform. And I'm thankful that you're sharing me with your followership.
Well, it's all about sharing and caring, right? So I
Amen.
think we have had in some ways some similar walks down the line, and it's a pleasure to finally align with you and have you share. And speaking it that this will not be a one and done. The mic is always open and the screen is always open for you to come back and share whatever you have on your heart with the audience.
Amen.
Like we like to do, like we do with the first time we have new friends on the conversation. Can you share a little background about yourself to our audience?
Yes, sir. Like you read in my bio, my name is Dr. Walter Sims. I am the Minister of Motivation. I have been doing this since about 2010, but I've been a spiritual leader for over almost 3 decades. This is my 25th anniversary at my church here in Dothan, Alabama.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I spent 30 years as an electrical engineer for a nuclear facility. I have a master's of ministry degree. I have a doctorate of theology. I have a coaching certification. And thank you for the young compliment, but I'm 50 years young. I got a little gray hair. So I got 50 years of life experience. I've been married. This is my 26th year. I got two sons.
Congratulations
Um,
again.
Thank you. I got two sons at Auburn and Alabama University. Just love life, man. And I just put together a little cheat sheet to help people accelerate their growth. And my platform is helping people realize their purpose.
Excellent. Well, we're going to find out a little bit about living purpose, but I think it's very important. I feel it's very important to find a little about you. So, can you share with our audience where you grew up? How was life growing up? And we're certainly going to
Yeah,
have you down the line share about your electrical engineer experience and then how you pivoted
that's good.
to where you are today. So, let's get a little background about growing up, where you grew up, family, etc.
Well, I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, which is 4 hours north of where I am now. Oldest son of a Baptist preacher, and my mom was first lady of our home church. My daddy had odd jobs. He was had a great work ethic. My mom had a great work ethic. I'm the oldest of six children. I have three brothers and two sisters, and I share this with my fellowship from time to time. The reason that I'm so happy and positive and always looking for the bright side, I get that from my upbringing. I never saw my parents argue. I never saw my dad speak to my mother in a derogatory manner. He was a man of God and a man of God at home. Now, we had our run-ins during those teenage years, of course, but as I grew older and as I have grown older, I realized how instrumental my parents were in me and my brother and sister's development. And so I attribute a lot of who I am to my parents. And I really thank them for that. See, I had a drug problem when I was growing up. My parents drugged us to church, Dr. Vibe.
I can speak to that too. I'm glad there's no pictures of some of the pants I used to wear to church, but that's a whole other conversation.
Amen, Doc. Amen, Doc. So had a very humble upbringing. We were not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but you could not have told us that, man. We were excited to be able to go outside, play in the dirt, get the water hose or the hose pipe, and spray each other down in the summertime, and make mud pies, and ride our bikes up and down the street, go to the corner, because there was a lady that was on the corner that had a corner store, and she sold Kool-Aid pops and now and laters and baked beans and lemon heads. Man, if we got 50 cents, we would run to that corner store and get a bag full of stuff. And I'm telling you, Dr. Vibe, those were the days, Doc. Those were the days. And I'm a 70s kid. I was born in 1966. So I grew up with Good Times and Sanford and Son and the Jeffersons and all of those shows, All in the Family. Those were the days and all that good stuff. And the soap operas, Young and the Restless, General Hospital, $6 Million Man. My favorite show was the $6 Million Man. And just had a great childhood. Went to high school there in Birmingham. Got my Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering. And the way that I leaned on engineering, I was good in math and science. So my senior year in high school, I asked my daddy, how does a man know that God has called him into the ministry? And my daddy coached me. He said, you'll know. And I kind of scratched my head. I said, well, okay. And so the very next week, I had to do a research paper, and it was on electrical engineering. And since I was good in math and science, it was just a good segue, because all my life people told me I was going to preach just like my dad, and I didn't want to do that. And so I ran from that calling and went into engineering.
Why did you run from getting into the ministry?
Well, it's kind of strange. It's strange how that is, and that's one of the regrets I wrote in an article on the Good Men Project. One of the things I regret, or one of the things I've learned in 50 years, which is gonna be what we're gonna talk about tonight, living on purpose. I could have gleaned so much from my dad if I had have accepted my calling sooner. And I ran from it because I didn't think it was that glamorous. My daddy, I saw him live that life, and I did not necessarily want to do that, being a preacher's kid and that stigma. But one of the things I wrote in my article last summer, I should have accepted where I am sooner, because we could have had a very powerful relationship, because he died 2 years ago. And that's one of the things that really lingers on my heart right now. I should have had many more conversations with him than I did. And so one of the things, Dr. Vibe, that I really stress to people is find your lane, i.e. purpose, as soon as you can, so you can minimize your regrets. One song that's just in my spirit right now, Dr. Vibe, is that song by Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way. And one of the lines in the song said, regrets, I've had a few, but not so many that I need to mention. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't want to have a lot of regrets, find your lane as quick as you can. And I had a tweet in my Twitter feed Monday morning when I woke up, and the tweet said, if you don't follow your heart, you'll spend the rest of your life wishing that you had.
Enough said. We can end the conversation. See ya. But I'm just joking.
Come on now.
No, I'm just joking. I want to spend some more time about your growing up days. What did your father teach you? What did your mother teach you? And what did your community teach you when you were growing up?
Oh, that's good. At my dad's homegoing, The word that everybody that spoke about him said, and he was faithful. One thing he instilled in my brothers and I was to never give up. And I guess that's why we go so hard now. And I've kind of parlayed that to my sons. And my wife did it. I remember one year, my sons, we had them involved in sports. And one year he played on a soccer team that did not win a game. And after every game, he would get in the car and say, Mama, I want to quit. I want to quit. And she said, No, you're not going to quit because whatever you start, you have to finish. And that's the way that we grew up. My dad, I never saw him quit anything. And he saw it to the end because he stayed at my home church 46 years, and he pastored one church 46
Wow.
years, and that was the church that he was pastoring when he passed. And my mother she taught me humility. She was the first lady of our church, but she never act like it. She taught humility. She was happy. She smiled. She never complained. And I got that from them. And they did not necessarily sit down and say, okay, today we're going to go over humility and faithfulness, but they live that. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I learned from my community growing up is you have to work for those things that you get. The generation in which we grew up in, you have to earn your stripes. You have to pay your dues. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we learned from our community. And so it was just great growing up during the time that I grew up.
In making the decision of becoming an engineer, how did your dad handle that?
Well, he was all he really supported that, and as a matter of fact, he had one of his students. He taught at a community Bible college, and one of his students worked at Alabama Power, and he gave his student my name, and that's how I got an internship at one of the local steam plants, which led to me getting hired here where I live now at the nuclear plant. So he was on board, and him and my mom did some things to make sure that we were successful in college. I graduated on only $600, and to this day, I can't figure out how that happened. You know what I'm saying? But they made some things happen for us, and they supported that decision, and I'm pretty grateful for my parents for that.
So, just going over your career in the work world, what were some of the lessons or some of the highlights during that time, and when did you realize it was time to pivot?
Well, it's amazing that you asked that question. Who I am, a very dynamic, very motivational person. I was a great teammate, and everybody enjoyed working with me because I could get along with anybody. The roughest people at the plant, people would love for me to work with them because I could work with anybody. So I got high marks on community civic teamwork. Now, where I was challenged is attention to details because I'm not a detail oriented person, which is kind of odd being an engineer. And so around 2009, 2010 is when I was talking to another friend of mine, and he said, Dr. Sims, what else is a passion but a life coach? Because I was looking at ways to help supplement my income because I wanted to do other things. And he opened up the conversation of being a life coach, and the light came on. And I sought after my first coach to help me with that, and I found her on Twitter. And to this day, she said I was her best student because I've spent 4 weeks with her, and it really, really got me going in the right direction. And so I felt like I really wasn't pushing myself as hard as I could have. As an engineer, I was like a fish out of water. You know what I'm saying? But in this lane, man, I'm like doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I got released from the company 2 years ago. So April the 17th of 2015, my company divorced me. I got
Excellent.
and so the first thing my wife says after she calmed down from a hurricane to a tropical depression, the
Yeah.
first thing she said, yeah, the first thing she said was, "What you gonna do now?" And I said, "Well, I have time to work my business now."
Was so when the company divorced you, obviously it was something you were looking forward to, but how many years ago did you realize that you had to it was the time to pivot was coming? You could see light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, it was 3 years prior to that, and so for 3 years, 36 months, I was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Should I stay? Should I go? And my wife was encouraging us to stay because the boys were getting ready to go to college and everything, and so that was just heavy on my heart. And I was really working on blossoming where I was, but I knew that my calling, the Lord was pulling me elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I can coach people through that, because I know what their fear looks like. You know what I'm saying? I know what it looks like to be in indecision, and so I can coach that. And so I challenge people, because where I was being a hypocrite, Dr. Vibe. I was coaching people and working at the nuclear plant, and I was coaching people to take their life to another level. Yet I was still in fear myself, and so the Lord gave me that push and opened that door for me. And so I challenge people, if you really want to take your life to the next level, you have to do something that's gonna upset the apple cart, if you will, i.e., your comfort zone.
Well, and you mentioned your wife's initial reaction. How did you win her over, coach?
It's a present tense, winning.
Okay, all right. It's a work in progress, like a good coach, right?
That's right.
Okay. So
Just you know what, with her, the biggest thing with her, and she sees it, the consistency. She see me, and she sees that I'm more committed now than I was working at the nuclear plant. She sees my consistency, and that's the biggest thing that really enforces what you're being consistent is helping my case.
nice, nice. So let's. Do you remember your first coaching client?
Yes, I do.
You don't, and
Yes,
you, you
yes,
and you don't
I
have to,
do.
and you don't have to give the name, but just the circumstances and how was that initial reaction getting that first client?
Well, we again, it's through social media. She signed up for a 12-week program with me, and she was having some things happen at work and family things and everything, and worked with her for 12 weeks. And at the end of those 12 weeks, Dr. Vibe, she said, Dr. Sims, and she was so happy. She said, Dr. Sims, my situation hasn't changed, but my attitude has. And she said, you helped me with that. And
Nice.
so that, man, that just blessed my heart. And a lot, and I've done so much coaching pro bono. The paying clients are coming, praise God. But everything, every life that I touch, and I love the way you prayed. If I can impart something to you for a millisecond, that millisecond is invaluable. And what people don't realize, there's no price you can put on giving somebody or receiving a word that's going to revolutionize your life. You know what I'm saying? There's no, you can't measure that, you know? And so, man, to see a light come on for somebody, to see somebody, and what people are telling me now, Dr. Vibe, is that they just was tired of life. And the Lord brought us together. And I'm dealing with a lot of people that are going through and battling depression. And I taught a class during the holidays. And for people to email me, call me, text me, tweet me, say, Dr. Sims, I want to live again. My excitement about life is back. I'm thankful God sent you to me. I want to live again. I'm upset with myself for wanting to stop life, and I'm ready to live now. And thank you, Dr. Sims. Man, I'm telling you, Doc, there's nothing in the world like that.
Excellent. I'm sure, and I encounter a lot of people who's, if you ask them, what do you dream about? And I'm sure you and I will come into encounter with people say, I don't have any dreams. My dreams have died.
My Lord, that's it, Doc. That's it. That's exactly right. And something happened. Somebody said something. I was on the call this afternoon before we got together on the interview. I was talking to somebody just a few minutes ago, and something happened that kind of derailed them a little bit. And I just asked a couple of questions, said a couple of things, and she said, Dr. Sims, thank you for kind of readjusting my thought process, because I was just about to give up and just stop. And for the last 2 weeks, Dr. Vibe, I kid you not, everything I've been reading and looking at, my Instagram, my Twitter feed, it's been talking about don't give up. And if I can say anything to anybody tonight, if you don't remember me saying anything else tonight with my brother, Dr. Vibe, don't give up. Because if you give up now, going backwards is going to be just as far or farther than you have to go forward. And I know, I'm telling you from now. I'm telling you from what I'm going through right now. If you can handle your storm now, oh, tomorrow is going to be all right. Because there's a verse in the Bible, our favorite book, that says, you shall reap if you faint not.
Yeah. Well, for some people, the easiest thing for them to do is to quit.
Yes, sir. That's right.
So
That's right.
I know that I don't want to lose the topic here, because I know you have some notes about our subject tonight, and I want you to make sure you have the time to get into it. So let's focus on living on purpose, and let's have you start sharing. I may interject periodically to have you clarify or flush out an idea, but the mic is yours. Go for it.
All right. Well, let me say this, and let me say this because I'll be 51 my birthday, which is June the 6th. And the two most important days in a person's life is the day that they were born and the day they figure out why. And I tell everybody, Dr. Vibe, you ought to be able to articulate why you're here. Why has God given you a life extension? Why has God given you life? Why has the universe stamped your letter of approval and approved your paperwork to live? You ought to be able to tell somebody, the reason I am here is this. One of my reasons, my tagline, my purpose, my signature statement is, I bridge the gap between where you are and where God wants you to be. That's what I do. I help you sit down and figure out, are you an apple or an orange? Because a lot of pressure that people you are experiencing is that you are an apple, but you are trying because somebody told you you look like an orange today. The sun was shining, the texture, you look to somebody today, you look like an orange. So in your mind, you're trying to be an orange, but guess what? Apple juice and orange juice don't taste the same. So if the criterion is to judge you for producing orange juice, but you produce 100% great tasting apple juice, you will fail every time, which lends itself to now you battling low self-esteem. So my job is to tell you, be the best apple you can be. Now that light bulb comes on in your mind. I'm an apple. So now you get in the apple lane. And now you're producing 100% unfiltered apple juice, sweet, no sugar added. And now you are passing with flying colors because you're being judged according to the criterion of producing apple juice. So the very first step in this thing called living on purpose, your very first action item is to figure out your why. And as Dr. Vibe said a moment ago, go ahead, Dr. Vibe.
Okay, and I just want to interrupt you there. What are some suggestions you have for the audience if they don't know how to figure out their why?
Well, oh man, boy, it's like we practice this. That is the perfect follow-up question. And this is what I tell people. And again, this is why you need a coach. But I'm coaching on demand. We coaching on demand right now. So I'm coaching you right now. So the first thing I have people to do, I have a three-step process. And we'll go over each one of them very quickly. And what I tell people, and I just put this on my Facebook page. So if you won $435 million, what's the first thing you would do? If you had a check, and I'm writing you a check, and I'm giving Dr. V 10% of this, but if I wrote you a check for $15 million, what would you be doing? Because I get people to do that because 78% of people are working on a job that they don't like. 70% of those 78% people can't, they believe they can't afford to do anything else. So they're working for less than because they are comfortable. That lifestyle that they're living, what they're making affords them to be comfortable. But that's not why you're here. That's not your design. You're helping somebody else dream. They were an entrepreneur one day. You're helping somebody fulfill their dream. But what is your dream? If I gave you, now I've taken away that financial stress, giving you $15 million. So now you got money is no issue now. So what would you be doing? The second way I ask that, Dr. Vibe, is God stops time for you right now. And the only way time will start again if you prove to me you're living on purpose. I guarantee your argument to live again and for time to start again would not be, I want to go make more money. I want to be famous. I want to have 15 minutes of fame. Your argument is going to be, Lord, I need more time to do that thing you call me to do. The third approach I have, Dr. Vi, I said, listen, you're writing your obituary. And when people stand at your day, when they read out your eulogy, when they read your obituary, what do you want people to say about you? Do you want them to say that you worked hard and made a lot of money? Or do you want people to say you made a difference? So what is it that you want to do to help make a difference? Because if you want to make $1, you won't make a difference. But if you want to make a difference, you'll make $1. And living on purpose is all about service. So that three-tiered approach, Dr. Vibe, helps people begin to think about their life in a different perspective, in a different way.
Okay. In the three-tiered approach that you just shared with us, which one of those three do you feel your clients have the most challenge understanding and realizing?
Oh, okay. The reason I break it down the way that I do is really the first one, because a lot of people identify who they are with what they do. You see what I'm saying? And so a lot of times people kind of get comfortable doing that thing that they are doing now. But praise God, I wasn't too attached to my job as an engineer because they divorced me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful that I understand that my purpose and my calling was bigger than that temporary assignment. And so a lot of people are really challenged when they say, well, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't know what I'm good at. What you're good at has been with you all your life. It's that thing that's really easy for you to do. That thing that you can do and say, well, you don't have to pay me for that. That's easy. Ding, 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 ding. What do you think Michael Jordan was born to do? Play basketball. We go to a local barbershop, and I host my show from that barbershop every Wednesday. And my standing question I ask everybody in the barbershop, who's the greatest basketball player to ever play the game of basketball? Michael Jordan. And my barber, he helps me with my beard. My barber, his favorite player is Kobe Bryant. And we kid him all the time. Kobe wanted to be like Michael Jordan. Come on, somebody. And so depending on the generation in which you are a part of, some people say Bill Russell. Some people say Magic Johnson. My generation says Michael Jordan. The younger generation says Kobe or LeBron James. But they were born to play basketball. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born to help the cause of civil rights. Jesus lived his purpose. Jay-Z and Beyonce and all of those people, they are living out their calling. You know what I'm saying? And so you need to sit down and say, okay, why am I here? Because a lot of people, Dr. Vibe, 2 out of 10 people know their why. The flip of it is 8 out of 10 people don't know why they're here. And thus the reason so many people are frustrated, Dr. Vibe, they don't know why they're here. And that's frustrating. Man is the only part of God's creation that struggles with identity. You never see a lion walking through the jungle and asking a giraffe, Mr. Giraffe, who am I? I don't know who I am. Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me. You endangered your Nilo's life. Mufasa. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have moved to rest.
No problem. It's okay. Hey, as I said, you're driving the ship. I'm steering the ship. Go for it, man.
Amen. And so the first part of living motivated, living on purpose, is to understand your why. Now, to Dr. V's question, what hinders that a lot is a four-letter word, FEAR. Because I talked to somebody yesterday, I got a new client yesterday, and I'm going to help her walk out producing her first book. And that's intimidating. A fellow pastor friend of mine. It's intimidating because she doesn't know how to do it. So a lot of people will rather stay where they are, frustrated, confused, lost, etc., versus doing something they've never done before. And I love what George T. Eliot said. It is never too late to become who you should have been. But a lot of people would rather stay where they are. No shade, no disrespect. But it is so exciting to take that jump. A lot of people saw the thing that Steve Harvey did on jumping out of the plane. He was on break on Family Feud, and he did a video on jumping out of the airplane. He said, jump. You'll never know if you don't jump. He had to jump. And people love that. Oh, yeah, man. Everybody posted it on their wall and shared it. It had thousands of views. But how many people are really taking that leap of faith? Fear has, as you said a few moments ago, fear has stopped a lot of dreams, Doc. The richest place in the world, and one of my mentors, Les Brown, says this all the time, the richest place in the world is a cemetery. And the two greatest fears should be, your fear should be two-dimensional. It really should be, I'm not going to do that thing that God has called me to do. And I'm letting down the cluster of people that have my name on it. You have a set amount of people that you're supposed to get to. Dr. V, this is a divine appointment. You and I was supposed to share this space together tonight. We didn't know it, but God did. You and I supposed to cross paths. There are some people in this world that's got your name on it, and you are robbing them of the opportunity to experience that light that God has put in you, that gift, that call. So living on purpose, so far we talked about knowing your why, having the courage, the faith to step out and do it because you haven't done it before. And thirdly, doing it unapologetically. You don't hear Dr. Vibe apologizing for who he is. You'll never hear Dr. Sims apologizing for who I am, even though people say all the time, I can't handle all of that. They used to tell me, Dr. V, they used to tell me in the morning, I go to work all hype, all bubbly, all excited, giving people a high five. They said, you need to calm down. But what was so amazing, when they needed encouragement, they needed a word, they needed some coaching, they would come to my cubicle and sit down, Dr. V, just to hear me espouse on some things. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to have, we're like superheroes. When you live on purpose, you're like a superhero. You know what I'm saying? You have to be you and don't worry about anything anybody else. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because what you have been called to do, somebody else is doing it, but they can't do it like you. There's somebody else on the radio like Dr. Vibe. There's millions of life coaches now, but there ain't nobody like us. We all have our own fingerprint. So, because again, the fear is nobody's going to listen to me. That was the thing that was holding me at bay, Dr. Vibe. Believe it or not, I was challenged with, ain't nobody going to listen to you. You not allowed. You not fancy enough. No, nobody, go sit down. Nobody's going to listen to you. But I had to overcome that fear and say, I got a voice and I'm going to be heard, and I got to shout. I got to shout from the rooftop because God has given me a word. God has given you a story. Your life is a story. You have a testimony, and you need to let people know that you are here, you are excited, you're motivated, and you're going to do that thing God has called you to do. So you got to unapologetically be you and don't compare yourself to anybody. I love movies, and in the movie Apollo, it's about Creed. The movie Creed is about Apollo's illegitimate son Adonis, and Rocky. He asked Rocky to be his coach, his trainer, and they were shadow boxing in front of the mirror. And Rocky told Adonis, "Your greatest opponent is looking at you in the mirror. You are in your own way. Until you look at you and say, 'Listen, we're gonna do this,' you need to get out of your own way." And that's why you bring a coach on board to help you get out of your own way.
Excellent. I'll just add on a little filler onto what Dr. Sims has shared with us. As I say to some people, sometimes you have to jump off a cliff and grow your wings on the way down.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, Dr. Bob. That I mean, and that's what happened to me for real. I got pushed.
Well, hey, yeah. And sometimes, as I share with people, don't get good, get done.
Yeah, you better say that. Come, Dr. Vibe, come on. And I got one more to tack on to that. When we stand in that celestial auditorium, God is not going to get to the microphone and say, "Well said." He's going to say, "Well done." And I number one, I applaud you for at least talking about it. Okay. I'm talking to you tonight. Me and Dr. Vibe are talking to you, whoever is listening. We
Yeah.
talking to you. We talking to you. And what I'm going to offer to Dr. Vibe's scholarship, the first 5 people that email me at drsims at drwaltersims.com, I'm going to give you a power hour. And in that power hour, we can talk about that thing that's been holding you up. So I'm gifting that to the first 5 people that email me and say, "You heard me on Epic Conversations." Okay.
No
And
problem.
I applaud you. I applaud you that you're talking about it. That Dr. Vibe and I'll high fiving you right now. You're talking about it because when you talk about it, you're thinking about it. So that's why I don't mind, and I'm a chase a rabbit. I don't mind people talking about me because when you're talking about me, you're thinking about me. So I don't mind.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good. I know you have more notes, so I want to make sure that we don't leave anything not approached on your notes. So continue on, please.
Oh, thank you, Doc. Thank you, Dr. V. Thank you, Dr. V. So, be unapologetic. You have to be unapologetic. And let me tell you this, and let me tell you this. The fourth thing I really living on purpose, I need, and thank Dr. V for help reeling me back in because I get excited. And thank you, Dr. V. The fourth thing, and this is big, and again, my new client, we talked about this afternoon, and this is how I reeled her back in. Number 4, and I really want you to get this, you need to forgive yourself. And I was talking to my accountability partner Monday during our session. God did a great work with her. And she said she woke up out of a sleep Sunday morning and God whispered to her, "You've forgiven everybody but yourself." And I want to spend a moment and look at you and speak to you tonight and let you know you need to forgive yourself. You did what you did when you did it based on the information you had and where you were at that moment in time. Now you're older, you have some more experience, and you are really ready now to do that thing that God has called you to do. 3 years, 4 years prior, I wasn't ready. 18 years ago, I wasn't ready. 20 years ago, I wasn't ready. I'm ready now. 2 years ago, I'm ready now. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people are frustrated because you may feel like you need to be further along. You need to be more progressed. You need to be more established. You need to have more resources. You're right where you're supposed to be. I want to give you an acronym. We all are familiar with GPS, but I have DPS, and it's called Destitutional Positioning System. Your purpose maps out the coordinates on God's DPS, and you are right positionally, purposely, you are right where you're supposed to be. That's going to encourage somebody tonight. You are right where God wants you to be. So I need you to forgive yourself. One of the activities that I give my clients is to write yourself a forgiveness letter. I need you to sit down tonight and I need you to say, me, I forgive you. That happened and that was not in your control. You have beat yourself up too much. It's time for you to love yourself and appreciate yourself. Okay. And the fifth thing of living on purpose is that you are here to serve. Okay. You are here to serve. You're here to serve. You're here to figure out your why. You need to not let fear stop you. Move out in faith. You need to know that you are you. There's nobody quite like you. Be unapologetically you. Forgive yourself. And I need you. The last thing I need you to do is understand that this is all about service. How can I serve those people that God has assigned to me? You're using your gifting, you're using your purpose, that thing that's on the inside. You're here to serve. And my quote again is, if you want to make $1, you won't make a difference. But if you want to make a difference, you'll make $1.
Excellent. I want to get ask you for our audience, what does serving look like? Is it
Oh, that's good.
what does that look like?
That is so good. And you're using yourself. You are using your abilities to assist somebody else. I mean, like right now, what you and I are doing, you are serving me by allowing me to be on your platform. I'm serving by sharing what living on purpose is all about with our audience. It's sort of like when you go to a restaurant and you sit down, the waiter or waitress comes up and say, okay, what would you like to drink? The first thing they ask you, what do you want to drink? They give you a menu. What would you like to order? I'm here for your service. Or when you go to a hotel and the concierge comes out, or the man on the corner comes out, the man comes out, the valet parkers, they come out and say, I'll park your car for you. That's service. That's so you don't have to. We are here to make sure you don't struggle anymore. You quit being frustrated. You quit feeling lost. I'm using my gifting to help you understand and realize why you're here. So service looks like me helping you, because Jesus himself said, I didn't come to be ministered unto. I came to minister. I'm here to seek and to save those that are lost. That's why he came. The well need not a physician, but I'm here to serve. He gave his life for you and I so that we don't have to. But being a servant is serving, and serving is giving of yourself to help somebody else. Because one of the things I taught my sons is to be kinder than you have to be. Always do something you're not supposed to do and not expected to do. Because when you're serving, you're not looking for anything in return, because kindness is its own reward. But you get blessed so many other ways. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all about helping other people.
I'll just add on something to what Dr. Sims just said, that I always share to people, always keep yourself a level above the situation that you're in.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I want to get some thoughts on you in regards to your coaching business. And one of the things is, are the majority of your clients men or women? And why do you think that is?
That's an excellent question. The majority, and I mean, I was just talking to one of my colleagues about this, because most of my clientele are women. Most of my clients are women, because women don't mind asking for help. Most women don't mind seeking help for their situation. You know what I'm saying? Men just have bigger egos and they don't want to seem like they don't have it all together. You know what I'm saying? But there is a young man I'm working with, mentoring him, and he's awesome. And he pulled me on his team to help him sort through some things. You know what I'm saying? And so, but to answer your question, most of my clients are women, because women If something is wrong with them, they want an answer. They want help. They want some guidance. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why a lot of women tend to be more coachable than men, because they're gonna take instruction. They're gonna do the work. Because I tell everybody, you could have the best coach in the world. You could have Tony Robbins. You can have Lisa Nichols. You could have
Les
some of
Brown.
the Les Brown. You can have all of those guys helping you, but you still have to do the work. You can have the best program in the world, but you have to do the work. And I tell people all the time, if you're not obedient, if you can't do the work, if you can't listen, you and I will not be a good fit, because you have to be coachable. You know what I'm saying? You have to listen with the intent of growing. It's not personal. It's not personal. You got to get some things together. So you got to leave your feelings at the gate. You got to leave your feelings at the door. Put them to the side. Because I've had some tough instruction. You know what I'm saying? I was coached a little bit yesterday. You got to tighten some things up. If you go into another level, you got to tighten some things up. And a lot of men don't like to be told their stuff is jacked up.
Understood. I want to follow along this path a little bit more. In your experiences coaching men and women, do they see purpose differently? Because we're talking about living on purpose. Do men and women see purpose differently?
Oh man, that's another great question, because yes, to answer your question, because a lot of women get caught up and off guard, because if they have been a wife and a mother, their frustration is after their kids get a certain age and their husband is doing his thing, then they look around and like, what now? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times their identity is tied to their family, where men feel like sometimes their identity is tied to their career and how they are providing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different perspective. A man feel like his purpose is outside the home, and a woman's purpose, she feels like hers is inside the home sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so that dual dynamic we have to help people coach through and say not necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Because that's fine to do that, but there may be something additional or more that God wants you to do.
I would understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you probably have a wide range of ages in your coaching, correct?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So let's take a look. How do under 35s handle purpose compared with people who are over 35, in your opinion?
Well, that is so good, because see, people under 35 are living in the moment, and they're not thinking about legacy. And people over 35, man, you have just been a fly on my shoulder, because I have just been talking about this stuff with people. And people that are over 35, especially my age and older, you start thinking about, what am I leaving behind? You know what I'm saying? Because under 35, you're thinking about accumulating things and just thinking more about yourself. And the older we get, we start thinking about others more. But again, and that we're doing more statistics now, because an apostle was on my show today, just 23 years old, and he is so honed in as to how God is using him. God, he's been preaching since he's 13. So, but on average, people that are under 35, they are thinking so differently. They're thinking more singularly. As they're younger, they're thinking more about themselves. But the older we get, 35 and above, you're thinking more about, why am I here? What is my purpose? That question becomes more relevant the older you get.
With your coaching practice, what percentage of clients that you have does purpose come up in the coaching path, in the coaching journey?
Well, that's really that's the door opener. That's what I lead with. And like, again, one of the new clients I got this afternoon, I met her on a cruise about 4 weeks ago. And while she's building and she kind of knows the lane she's in, she still has a lot of unresolved stuff that she's dealing with. And I'm a spiritual dynamic life coach, so I can coach on demand. I can help with that because I just talked about, forgiving yourself. And there's someone in her life she needs to forgive. And we got to work through that because what it has lent itself to now, she's resentful. And so that's going to really hold up her growth in this area because she's still holding on to some stuff. So while we looking at purpose, we got some garage stuff we got to clean up and clean out. You know what I'm saying? So purpose is a good leading conversation, but a lot of time there are other things that we have to deal with as well. Fear is a big piece of that. I coach people on fear because fear, again, fear is schizophrenic. There are so many dynamics to fear that a lot of people have to overcome to really start walking in their purpose.
Excellent. Your clients, we got to talk about this. You have over 15,000 followers on Twitter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How did that happen?
Oh, yeah, organic because before live streaming, I really got on Twitter. I mean, 2009, and I built it from ground zero. I haven't had a program to help get followers. I built it organically because before the live streaming, etc. We were tweeting. I would put out tweets, motivation tweets every day. I was on Facebook every day, and I organically grew that following, and it has been pretty good. It's been pretty good, and live streaming is just taking that to another level because pre live streaming, Twitter, posting a picture, posting a quote is really static. But with live streaming, it's more dynamic. You know what I'm saying? And so it's been organic, man. Even though social media is social media, you still have to be social. And a lot of times we forget that, but you still have to do it the old fashioned way, really engage with people.
Excellent. I always say to people, it's social media and you got to be social.
That's exactly right, Dr. Vibe.
How has coaching changed you?
Oh, wow, wow. It has just really helped me again really identify with my clients because coaching is so important because I'm also a pastor, but at the same time I am a coach, and so I'm here to help people be better. And so coaching has helped me see my blind spots because we all have blind spots. And so understanding that, me coaching others, I'm here to help you see your blind spot because the young lady that certified me, my coach, my mentor, one of the things that was a shortcoming of mine early in my coaching career was not really asking that tough question and letting people off the hook. She said, don't let people off the hook because that's why you are there and that's why they invested in you is to help them overcome that. And it's that people need to deal with. And as your coach, I got to ask you those tough questions. And I've been asked very tough questions, to help get you over yourself. And it's not personal. We're not friends. When I told them that yesterday morning during morning motivation, in coach space, we are not friends. It's not a love fest. You want to get there. And what's so amazing, Dr. Vibe, people that are successful, if you Google right now, Google the top 20 most successful people in our community, our society right now, they have a life coach, an accountability partner, and a mentor on their staff right now.
Do you ever coach non-believers? And if you do, how is your approach any different?
Oh, that is good. Man, yeah. Because I'm here and what I do generically and say, listen, what you need to understand is that there is somebody bigger than you. And they agree with that. And I said, this is not conversion or nothing like that. You want to get better in a specific area. And what people have told me that are non-religious that watch me and participate with what I'm doing, they just love my sincerity, they love my consistency, and they love my compassion. That's my drawing card. And I just love them where they are. And what they appreciate, Dr. Vibe, is that I'm not trying to convert them. I'm trying to help them, which opens the door to another conversation, if you know what I mean. It helps with another conversation. So my compassion, my candor, my concern, my consistency, and my authenticity really lends itself to being able to have a conversation with people that don't believe like I do.
Excellent. Is there a difference, you being a pastor versus you being a coach?
Hmm.
Could you share what the difference, how you approach each differently? Because some people think a pastor is like a coach, but obviously I know there's a difference. Can you share how you handle both those responsibilities differently?
Oh, that's a good boy. That is a good. That's a good question. Well, see, preaching, being a pastor, and with that hat on, I'm working on and I'm dealing with your spiritual destination, and I'm dealing with where you're gonna spend eternity, and getting you to realize that there is a higher calling for all of us. And one day we have to give an account for that. And we have to love the Lord. And the whole book is all about purpose and coaching. All that is in there. You know what I'm saying? Jesus was a coach. Paul coached young preachers. And it's in there. But when it comes to coaching, this is individual. We're one-on-one. I'm looking at you in the eyeballs. How can I help you live this life in a better way? Because a lot of times in the pulpit, you're kind of giving a lot of platitudes and not a lot of how to's. And where coaching comes in, where the church kind of falls off a little bit, and where coaching help picks up the slack, is helping people with the how to's. You know what I'm saying? As a coach, I'm helping people with the how to's.
How has your coaching style changed and pivoted over time, if it has?
Oh man, that is good. Again, just with anything, the more you do it, the more refined it is, and I'm a lot better at asking those pointed questions that need to be asked because early on, you kind of feeling your way a little bit, but I'm sharper, I'm more in tune, I'm more streamlined now, and man, it's good. And it's just like being on this interview with you now. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, I may not have been able to articulate as easily as I did tonight. But through time and with live streaming and my television show and being on the radio and having to do this all the time now, it just has helped sharpen my piece of iron.
Do you have, okay, how are people hearing about you? Because obviously you've got a large following on social. Is it mainly social media? How
Yes, sir.
when people approach you, how are they finding out about you? Are they just googling you, or is someone else telling them about you? What's going down?
Well, what? It's sort of like how you and I met. Piece of it, word of mouth, Facebook. I got an email today to do something here in town based on something I did last year with some high school students. That way, I'm working with the mayor here in town. That way, social media live streaming has been a big piece of my evangelism of Dr. Walter Sims, the life coach. But it has been a myriad of things. It's been a bucket load of things, not one thing in particular. But again, at the end of the day, there's nothing like good old fashioned one-on-one looking at somebody in the eyes and getting to know them on a more personal level. I got an email list that's growing, and so I'm just using everything to really expand what I'm doing. So I use social media, I'm using television, I'm using radio, I'm using word of mouth, and being consistent and being in the community. I mentor two fourth grade classes here in town. So somebody is seeing what I'm doing. I'm speaking at different places. So, man, I'm telling you, I'm hitting the ground running, Dr. V.
How important is having a team?
Ho, 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 ho. I learned this in high school. I learned this poem in high school. I mean, a long time ago. I think it was 10th grade, Dr. V. No man is an island. And I had to get over myself. My virtual assistant that I'm using now met me through Periscope. We met each other through Periscope, and I started giving her stuff to do that I was doing. And one day I told her I just shook my head with all the stuff I was trying to do. I had a young man, him and I stayed on the phone about 90 minutes yesterday, kind of going over where I am right now, looking at everything I'm doing. Another coach. I have somebody working with me on marketing. I own a radio network with a young man met me on Periscope. We got a team helping us there. I need a graphic designer. You can't do everything by yourself. It's impossible. And for us to think we can do everything by ourselves, that's a very short-sighted approach to what you need. But a team is very important, Doc.
Excellent, excellent. What do you feel is next for you? What's the next vision?
Well, what's next for Dr. Sims is my phone ringing off the hook. My coaching slots are filled up. The radio station has sponsors, and me getting real close to being a household name. When somebody thinks about motivation, inspiration, needing a coach, I want them to think about me, because what really blessed me is I answered an email before I came on your show, and the young man told me I need somebody at our board orientation that's going to get everybody pumped up. It's not going to be like any other orientation. And the first person I thought of was Dr. Sims.
There you go.
And that was from something that I did last year with those seniors. And that blessed my socks off, Doc. That blessed me, because he said, I thought about you. You the first person I thought about. Man, that blessed my socks off. That blessed me. And so that's what's next for me, man. Just taking what I'm doing to another level.
I want to add in here to have you share about it. Talk about the book, Living Motivated, the Beattitudes of Living a Motivated Life. What's the story behind that?
Well, as a matter of fact, the first thing that was really the first thing my coach helped me with was write a book, and I've been getting on to her that she needs to write at least 3 books, and she said that I encourage you to write your book. You got 3, and I haven't written the first one, and so she asked me, Dr. V, I'm telling you, you were a fly on my shoulder. She asked me, what's the purpose of your book? Why should anybody read your book? And I was meditating on it. And I said, living motivated is a lifestyle. And the way you see me is how I am every day, because I'm living on purpose. I know my why, and every moment counts to me. You know what I'm saying? Every moment counts. I don't want to waste a minute. And again, before you're 35, it looks like you'll live forever. But after 35, you understand that my life is finite. It has an expected end. This side, you know what I'm saying? This humanity, this flesh. And so I want every moment to count. And that's why I thank you for giving me a few moments to share with you and your fellowship tonight, because I really treasure things like this, because I know now at my age, at our age, how precious time is. And my book is all about setting it start. It has that acronym STAART. And I go over basically the process of living a motivated life. And I have hard copies now. I self-publish. And if you email me, I can give you the link how to get the book. And again, 5 people, y'all email me that you heard me here on Dr. V's show, Epic Conversations, and I'm going to give you an hour of coaching time, and we'll talk about it.
Excellent. Well, you know what? He sounds like he has to go. So we're going to start winding down our conversation, because I don't use the word busy. He's a positive, productive man. So, because,
Hey, my puppies ran in here. A mama is ready to go eat.
All right. Well, you know what? As the saying goes, happy wife, happy life. So before we let you go eat, and before you get hit on your nice bald head, we'd like to give you any closing comments you'd like to share with us and how people can contact you.
Okay, let me say this. Let me tell this to everybody. Dr. V didn't know me from anybody, but through the recommendation, the comment from a colleague of his, he opened up his heart to me. He opened up his time for me, and I have some radio questions to ask him. I want to pick his brain, and he said, "Dr. Sims, I'm not the smartest or sharpest tool in the shed, but I help you with whatever I have." Man, see, I'm a crybaby. That brought a tear to my eye because he sat down with me and spent about 30 minutes with me and gave me a checklist. And he said, "Dr. Sims, do these things, and this is going to help you tremendously." He didn't have to do that. And this is why we serve, because he shared him with me, and God is going to bless him for that. So, number one, I want to thank him for being the man that he is. You know what I'm saying? And second of all, if you want to contact me, I'm Googleable. Put my name in the search engine and all my information will pop up. But the easy way to find me is on Twitter at Dr. Walter Sam, on Periscope, Facebook, Walter Henry Sam. My email address and my website is ministermotivation.com. Go there, sign up for my newsletter, and you'll be part of my mail list. But email me, Dr. Sim at drwaltersims.com. Let me know you heard me on Epic Conversation with Dr. V, and we'll set you up with the power hour with Dr. Sim. And as I get ready to get out of here, I want you to remember this one thing. You make a difference. I'm going to close with this. There was a young man. He was about 13, and this old man would sit on the beach every day. And so this little boy, he's about 13, would pick up starfish and throw them back in the water. And the old man would sit on the beach every morning. This young man did the same thing. So this one particular morning, that old man said, "I'm going to talk to that young man." And so the little boy appeared again, as he always does, throwing starfish into the water. And so this old man said, "Son, come here." And the little boy, the teenager, ran up to him and said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I've been watching you for about a week now, and every morning you're doing the same thing, throwing those starfish back in the water. Do you know how many starfish that you've thrown in the water? What difference are you making?" And the young man looked him up in his eyes and he smiled. He said, "Sir, I know that, but I'm making a difference to the one I'm throwing back in the water." Boy, when I heard that, I hollered, because so many times you think you're not making a difference, but you're making a difference to the person you're making a difference for. And I want you to be encouraged and know that, yes, you are making a difference.
Excellent. Wonderful way to close off our epic conversation. Again, Dr. Walter Sims, thank you so much for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule to share with us. I just want to shout out to Junior Garcia, who says, "You are where you are supposed to be." So he gets it, he knows it, and definitely if you want to contact Dr. Sims, he is, I like to say, Googleicious. I like to use that term.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. I got a new word, Doc.
Right,
Thank you,
so
Doc.
well, that was given to me by one of my mentors, and she said Googleicious, and I loved it. So I'm borrowing it that from her. But I am Dr. Vibe.
I like that, Doc. I like that, Doc.
Thank you. I am the host and producer of Epic Conversations, host of the award-winning The Dr. Vibe Show. If you want to get in touch with me, Twitter is at drvibeshow. Website address www.thedrvibeshow. Email address dr.vibe at the Dr. Vibe Show, which is thedrvibeshow.com. If you want to listen to me, you can catch me on my website. You can also catch me on the Good Men Project. You can also catch me on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher Radio, Tuned In Radio, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and I'm also on Facebook, a little bit on Instagram, and also I'm a brand ambassador for Cuisine Noir magazine, which is the only online magazine that's dedicated to African Americans in food, wine, and travel. And also I'm a crowd producer for the hottest online social interactive show coming up on April 5th. It's called The Never Settle Show, hosted by Mario Armstrong. If you want to find out more information about that epic show, neversettleshow.tv. Sign up for the newsletter, get the information. As always, I like to say you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. Thank you for watching this live and on the replay. And two last things. First, I will say David won. And the next thing I will say is sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger.
I like it.
God bless. Peace to you all. Keep the faith. Tomorrow night, live on the Dr. Vibe Show at 7:30 p.m., we have Evan Jefferson talking about group economics. So do not miss that conversation. He's based in Atlanta also, so there's something going on in Atlanta. God bless. Keep the faith. Good night, everybody.